it's different. I am not a computer science major. I started studying biology and really could change life for that. So I have 2 degrees in education, and when I was teaching, I saw that technology had a huge potential. I wanted to learn how to program so I could teach kids and teachers how to program, because I saw that everything's okay.
Yes. Others,
Sure.
please mute yourselves.
If at some point you can't hear me properly, please tell me, and I will switch connections. So I started to teach robotics and programming to children and to teachers, so they could teach in the classroom. I didn't know about it, and I started in 2018 to study AI, machine learning, and to see what we could do with gender and data. And at that point in 2018, 2019, there wasn't much in Spanish, in my language. We didn't have a lot of portals, so we didn't have people talking about the intersection between data and gender. And so I said, okay, we should build something. So that's when we started this organization called Data Género. Data Género, it means gender data, but in Spanish. And we have been receiving a lot of great feedback on this subject, because a lot of people were doing research or creating algorithms, and they wanted better data, and they didn't find it. They find that sometimes the data was disaggregated by sex, like men, women, and that needed. And also we had the sex, but not the gender. As you know, sex and gender are 2 different things. The one thing is the biological sex that was assigned to me when I was born, and the other thing is my gender identity. So we didn't have that data. So we started to work with governments to build this data. I don't know if anyone, we will do questions later, no? It's better? Okay.
Yes.
So I will continue. So in Data Género, we envision a world where gender disaggregated data is the vehicle for more inclusive and equitable policies and programs. So we are using some trainings regarding data and more accessible, actionable, and impactful. So I was talking about this. I will do this. You see it okay? Yes. We started to see that the SDG number 5, the goal regarding gender equality, had a lot of data missing. Half of the data that we need to measure the gender inequalities in the world is missing. And from the data that we have, most of it is very old. It's like 10 years old. So we don't have data that shows a picture of how women are being are living in economy, regarding health, regarding also technology, and political participation, fake news and misinformation. And the way to fight it is with better data, and we don't have it. So it's really, really important that we start gathering information. But some governments don't want to have open data or better data because it will show how badly they are doing. So it's when we don't have data about this, it's better for some governments because they can't be seen. We can't see what they are doing. It's kind of obscure. So to try to close the data gap, we have three main areas in our organization: data collection, data analysis, and advocacy and training. So we work with a lot of the agencies that are collecting data. So they have in mind all the different issues that we want to show in the data. We want to show women, LGBTQ plus people. We want to show people with disabilities. We want to show people that are different races in the data. So we have high quality data to create better policies. And we have information to fight for our rights. Then we have the analysis part, because it's not this than ignoring them. So we want to equip the people that are doing this analysis with the tools to be more sensitive about these issues. And we do that with advocacy and training. So we create a lot of different programs. We teach in universities, we teach in different organizations how to have this sensitivity on the data processes in general. We have this program that I'm going to talk to you about regarding AI and gender-based violence. When you see GBV, it's gender-based violence. We have another one regarding AI and recent past files, because we had a very bad dictatorship in Argentina. And we have a lot of documents from the 70s and 80s, that's when it happened, that are photographs of really bad written papers. And we can use AI to extract information from those papers and make it structure data from unstructured information. So we are developing some programs to do this with a lot of care, because it's really sensitive information. People that was murdered or kidnapped, or we call it disappear in Argentina, because we don't know where they are. And then we have some research going on AI and the future of work. We know that AI is changing a lot of different fields in the job market, and we want to see what is happening, how it's affecting people, and what we can do about it. Regarding gender data, we have some research going on gender data and climate change. We are linking the impacts of climate change on women and LGBTQ plus people. Then we have a project that has been going on since the beginning of our organization about gender data and the political elections. In Argentina, we have a law that says that women and men should be equals in Congress. So if you have 50 congressmen, you should have 50 congresswomen. So we are analyzing how many women are getting into places of power or not. And then we have a lot of progressive laws in Argentina, like same-sex marriage and abortion and gender identity, but we are not measuring it properly, and we want to do that. But it's really hard in our actual political context. And then we have the advocacy and training program that we teach in the University of Buenos Aires, and we also do a lot of courses. Most of it is in Spanish, because that's our first language. As you can see, I am not great in English, but I try. But I think we can understand each other. It's not a huge problem, but if something is not clear...
Yes, sure. There is no problem.
Yeah.
No, it's all clear. Yeah.
You can ask questions in the chat if you don't understand something, and we can help each other out. So the main thing I wanted to talk to you about, it's this project called Aymuray. The logo is not there, but it's powered by Data Género. I think Mursal asked me to come here to talk about AI also, and responsible AI. And we have a huge example on how we can do it. We created a software. It was really tiring. It was a huge effort to create a software on AI to harvest data on gender-based violence. Aymuray is the Quechua. Quechua is a language here in the north of Argentina, Bolivia, Peru, and it's a word for harvesting. And we use responsible AI to harvest better gender data in Latin America. So when we say we are using AI in criminal courts, it's a way, it's where the judges are and where all the things happen in the judicial system. People often think that we want to use AI to predict crime, to predict if someone is going to be violent or something. We don't want to do that, not at all. Our software is not looking to predict crime or violence. We think that is kind of problematic and not responsible at all. So what we do usually is work with missing data. So we want to extract information from documents, relevant information, and we want to use AI for that. So our project is AI-based, and we want to promote open justice. We train criminal court officials on how to use this software. We use data analysis and visualization, and then advise policymakers. So it's the violence that happens to women because we are women, and what men do to women because of their gender. Not all violence from men to women is gender-based violence, but we have a huge part that is, and we want to measure it. Because nowadays there are a lot of different people saying that this doesn't exist. Gender inequality doesn't exist, gender-based violence doesn't exist. And we have the numbers to show that it does. Our AI, Aymuray, is a tool that creates open data sets, creates data from documents, and also anonymizes criminal court rulings. So if I have a document that says Ivana is suing Jose for something, the names of the people are going to be redacted, are going to be not there, so we can't know the sensitive information in the document. I'm going to show you an example later. So why you use AI for this? And that is a good question that we always try to answer, because sometimes AI is not the solution. If we have a problem, for example, climate change, maybe AI won't solve climate change, and it's kind of part of the problem. We can talk about that also if you want in the questions. But we think that AI is very, very good to help us semi-automate tasks that can be tedious and repetitive for humans. So if I have a document and I need to read it and to put it in a spreadsheet, in an Excel, for example, for a human, that is a very tedious task. It's very boring and it's very not challenging for us. So we think that AI can help us to create data sets and to read documents and detect sensitive information. And this word for me is key. It's very, very important, because we don't want the AI to do things alone. We want the AI to do it with human supervision. So our AI will always have a step where humans should check everything that the AI detected and then publish it, for example. So it's really, really important for us to have that validation step and not to do it fully automated. So a lot of text here, but what we did in the design process is what made our AI responsible. We had workshops with domain experts and different NGO members. We had interviews with the lawyers in criminal courts to see what they needed. We had a lot of different communication channels, and everything was really transparent in the process of building the AI. Usually, when we build an AI in industry, for example, we have a team of developers and we have a client, and the developers do something, the client says okay, and that's it. But we had a lot of workshops and to think about if this AI will harm people, if this AI will make people dependent on it and they couldn't do the tasks. If iMurai, for example, fails to work in the future, what will people do? So that's something that we should think about when we build AI. What will people do if my AI is not there anymore in the future? Will they be able to do their work normally or not? For example, if ChatGPT is down, people can't do their jobs anymore in some different areas. So it's creating a dependency, and that is also something problematic that we should keep in mind. We had a lot of testing also, and we had a lot of efforts to keep the data safe and to try to not expose anyone in the process. So iMurai now is being implemented in the National Ministry of Public Defense in Argentina and in 2 criminal courts in the city of Buenos Aires, and it's going to be implemented even in more offices in the future. So we have a lot of good reviews and a lot of good case uses. So it's being now implemented. A lot of lawyers are using it to create data sets on gender-based violence and also to anonymize documents. Both things are being used. So this is the software. As you can see, we wanted to keep it very clean looking and not like, oh, these are the people talking about gender and this is the app about gender. No, and this is not a web. This is a desktop app. Although you have the bar here, this is like a demo thing, but it's an app for the computer. And this is a redacted, anonymized document. As I was telling you, you have the date here, but you don't have the numbers. You have only the tag, and the tag is date. Per is person, so you don't have the name. You don't have Ivana there. You have person, and you have everything redacted, so no one can really know who we are talking about. You can read about everything, but not with the persons involved. And for us, that's really important to protect people's privacy and their right to not be exposed in public. So as you can see here, these are the tags that we have in brackets. We have the passport number, the nationality, the address. A lot of these things are redacted. We have 30 different fields that our AI detects and then anonymized. And this is the database that our AI creates after the people are validating everything. This is our website. It's in Spanish, but you can translate to your language and it will translate it. And some things that we have to consider is that we are not using Amazon Web Services or Google Cloud. We are not using external servers. We are using servers that are in the criminal court, so are local. So that means if I put in iMurai a criminal court ruling that is really sensitive, it will stay within the criminal court server system. It won't go to Amazon or Google or whatever company people use to run AI. That made our AI smaller and less powerful than ChatGPT, for example, because we needed to run it in local servers. But it's also very, very safe. It's not hackable, and it's very hard for information to leak to companies, for example. We decided to make our AI detect more information as sensitive. For example, if I have a number in my criminal court ruling, it will detect it as sensitive information. So we wanted that regarding false negatives and positives. While the front-end decisions are regarding its usability, it's really easy to use. It's very secure. And one of the challenges we had is deploying justice tech in Argentina is really hard. A lot of criminal courts don't want to do anything with AI, and most of them want to use AI for things that we think are not good. For example, predicting or writing these texts like these ones. They want AI to do it instead of people, and we don't think that it's good because it will have a lot of bias and a lot of decisions that they need to be made by human and not AI. Another thing is that we have everything open in GitHub, and also the models are in Hugging Face, so you can find our development there, and you can download it and test it in Windows, because all the criminal courts in Argentina have Windows, not Apple or Linux. This is the people that are supporting us. Our business model is we get funding from organizations, like international organizations, and then our AI is free for all the criminal courts to use. We don't sell this AI because no one wants to buy it. It's something that they are doing extra for open justice. So our business model is we receive money from different organizations, and then we don't charge anyone to use it. So that's mainly what we are doing regarding responsible AI, gender data. This is Datagénero, our networks. We are not using X so much, but you can follow us there if you want. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ms. Evina. That was totally great and informative. And so let's come to some questions. I have made about 3 questions, which is some general questions that I want to ask you. And so after that, we will have the audience to ask their questions. Is it okay?
Perfect.
So coming to the first question, what do you think? How can organizations ensure gender inclusive AI models?
How can organizations include gender inclusive AI models?
No, how can organizations ensure, like they can make themselves sure of these gender inclusive AI models?
Yeah, that's a great question. I think most of them are trying to create the better and newest model, and they don't care about these issues. And
yes.
I think we should have slower AI with more processes of people and organizations thinking about these issues, like testing a lot more and seeing what the impacts will be. So you need experts from academia and also from civic society being into the conversation of responsible AI and gender bias, gender and racial bias, because I didn't speak about this, but most of the models are really, really racist. So it's really important. Models and people behind the models also. We live in a very racist world. So it's important to keep this in mind and to use AI for a better world and not for profit. But that's not how the world works. But in an ideal world, that's what we should do.
Yes, sure. So what do you think? What are the challenges which exist in policy making for ethical AI?
I think one of the challenges is we have a lot of guides and principles on ethical AI. If you search for ethical AI, you will have a lot of bullet points on how to do this, but it's very broad and it's not really exactly to the point. So companies will go and pick whatever of these points are best for them and will do whatever they want. So we need stricter rules on the development and use of AI. We are kind of late in this conversation because we have AI in every device, in everything in our lives, but we should be putting some restrictions on the use, especially for young people, like children and teenagers. It's not good for them to be exposed to this, and they don't know what is real and what is not real. I think it's very, very dangerous, and we should be more restrictive about it. And this is a huge challenge on ethical AI, because when you say ethical AI, everything can be ethical if you look at it in different points of view. So it's important to do it differently, more
Yes, you're right.
more restrictive. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you. So the third question and the last one from my side is that, so what role can young women and emerging leaders play in shaping responsible AI? As you talked about the gender data and the equivalence between men and women. So what role can young women and also emerging leaders play in shaping responsible AI?
Yeah, I think that women and everyone should be more involved in how AI is being made. Everyone should at least do like small course on how AI works, how is it trained, what is the data that is being used, so we can know a little bit more on how we are creating this AI and what part can we play. We need more people that are sensitive creating AI. We need more funders that are women. We have all the CEOs of the big companies are men. And I'm not saying that because we have women, everything will be better, because that doesn't work that way. It's not like that.
Yes.
But we need people that are more sensitive in power. So if you are someone that is really like attached to the injustice in the world, and you have a possibility to create a company or to be in charge, don't uh, sell your soul to the devil, as we say in Argentina. Don't betray what you think, and we need people involved and not betraying their beliefs regarding humanity, regarding responsible AI, and a better future for everyone.
Yes, you're right. So to have a conclusion from my side, actually, in during the webinar, we talked about the responsible AI and gender data, and so we had our talented guest speaker. Besides that, we talk about the building responsible AI systems and the impact of the gender data, and also we had addressing gender bias in AI. So now I'm so sorry. It's time for to have a Q&A session, and I highly recommend anyone who have questions to raise your hand, or right now I am opening the chat box. So if you are free to talk, you can raise your hand and ask your question, or if you also want, you can just type your question in the chat box. I will read your question and then Miss Ivana will answer that. So let's start with the first question from Yelda Bahadouri.
Greetings to everyone, and thank you so much for the recognition. It was a very interesting webinar, and I have only about almost two questions in my mind. So, going with the first question, ma'am, given that this AI is implemented in Spain, um, one of the ethical issue, I think, when it comes to AI and like we can use AI for for the ethical justice. I think there might be some like problem with the AI itself, because maybe AI can also fail in ethical considerations. Since I think, in my personal opinion, in my own philosophy, I think AI lacks transparency. For example, some AI systems do not work like black boxes, which means that it doesn't mean it understands like people, and it doesn't understand how they make like how we as humans make decisions and what and on which basis. And but I'm actually glad to know and hear that the AI that you have implemented, it processes the sensitive data, but it actually anonymously, in a way that they give an anonymous output, as in the names are not being shown, and I think that's a good thing. But coming to and that's the first question. So I think there might be some issue if we use this. And the second question I have is that Spain is not a part of the Latin America, but I think it's an European country. But Spain itself has a strong culture and historical ties to Latin America. for some reason. But when it comes to LGBTQ rights, I'm concerned if, like, for example, regarding about the legal complaints. For example, the U.S. In 2025, as Trump himself said that the law in the USA only recognizes two genders, which are males and females. So if the data from Spain to USA being sent and for their legal complaints, I think it's if like there might be some issues going on with the gender classification, and the US may not, for example, like approve those like the other genders except the two genders mentioned before. So yeah, this is my last question. So what do you think, and what are your thoughts? I'm very eager to know, ma'am.
Thank you, Yalda, so much. Just a few clarifications, because maybe it got lost in translation and I didn't make myself clear. I'm from Argentina. That is a country in Latin America. I am not from Spain. I speak Spanish. That is the language that we all speak in Latin America, except from Brazil that speaks Portuguese. So we are in Latin America. We are Argentina. It's in the south. And we comply with Argentinian laws. So US laws, fortunately, are not applied in Argentina for now. So if they are not okay with LGBTQ plus, or we don't care, because we are a different country. And also regarding our AI, what we are trying to do is to collect data. We are not trying to help judges decide anything. And I think that's a problematic point. The black box that you were talking about is when AI decides something and we don't know what happened. So our AI just detects information and put it in a data set, or the text information and cross it, so we don't have access to the privacy part. So that's mainly what we do, and I agree with you that we should be really careful on this, and it's not something that we should take lightly. And also that we have different like spheres in different countries thinking about this issue from different points of view, and we should also keep it in mind. But usually in Latin America, we have openness to use this AI for extracting data and anonymizing documents. Thank you for your question.
Yeah, thank you, Ms. So Yalda asked a really great question about it, like AI fails in transparency and also the issue of the gender classification. And I hope that she had got her answers. Coming to the next question, Hawa Musini. If possible, please be short and concise.
Yeah, thank you so much, Ms. Mursal. First of all, hello everyone. I hope you're all doing well, and thank you so much, Ms. Ivana. It was really great, and I got so much information. My question is that how can AI be used positively to promote gender equality instead of reinforcing biases?
That's a great question. We don't have many examples on how AI can be used positively. Our development is one of them, Murai, that I showed you. I'm going to put the link in the chat here so you can access it. It's one of the examples. And we are part of a network of women working on AI in Latin America. And we have other prototypes and other different projects that can be a good example on how to use AI for good and for social impact, for example. So I'm going to show you in the chat so you can save the information. Feminist Research Network. This. And we also have some experiences in the Middle East. So you can check them here.
Thank you. So going to the next question, Mr. Zaki Sadaqatzadeh.
Greeting to all. Hope you're all doing well. Actually, it was a great webinar. I learned so much from it. But I have a question. It's kind of a general relating to AI, but I need to ask this from the mom. Can you possibly tell me that how can we use artificial intelligence in terms of making our own business or company?
That is a good question. It's more general, and I like it too because it's not it's different. I think that we can use AI, but we should always ask: is AI the best way to go with this task? For example, if I want to create a health organization, maybe we don't want AI to replace doctors, but we want AI to do some small tasks that can be made by robots, for example, robots. So it depends on the case. I think that if you say that you're building something with AI, nowadays money will come easily because there is a lot of money involved. So you can get more funding and more clients and everything if you say that you use AI. But if you want it to transcend and to be something that will last a long time, it should be more than AI, in my opinion.
Thank you. I hope you got the answer for your question. The next one, Saddam Buddha.
Hello, everyone. I hope everyone is fine and doing well. Actually, I joined the webinar recently and I missed, I think, a half of this webinar. And just I get the last part of this session. So as I joined lately, I think it was totally about and it is to say you that nowadays I'm totally engaged with different types of AI, and I'm facing with some challenges and with some difficulties during the days and during my engagement. My question is that so there are a lot of different types of AI. So how can we understand or how can we identify that which specifically which AI is the one that we can follow it or the one that we can use it properly and it is a good version of that. And also when I use, for example, mostly ChatGPT, I just sign in with my Google account, and there is a limitation. It means, for example, if I ask over 15 questions or more than 15 questions, after that it will be over, and I don't have the permission to ask anymore. And then there will be some problems, or maybe it is not working anymore and it is not responding me anymore. So how can I solve this problem? And also I think the AI works as we the way that we work or the way that we use it. For example, I mostly use AI for some for providing some engagement in my classes or providing some exercises for my classes. So just ask it directly. It means, for example, there are a lot
Thank
of
you,
different ways
sir.
to ask AI.
Yes,
But
I think we got your question.
what is a good way to ask it promptly? Thank you. Yeah, thank you for listening and
Thank
thank you
you.
for your time. Good. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
A lot of great questions from Saddam, I think.
Yes.
I don't know if you wanted to add something.
No, I didn't want to add something. That I just wanted to make it a bit short because there are some other questions in the chat box, and also we have around 11 minutes.
Okay, perfect. So I will be concise. I'm putting in the chat two other AIs that I think work better than ChatGPT, and they have a little bit more space to create questions. But that is the thing when using these AIs, is that you should make your question as specific as possible. If I want to create a recipe using, I don't know, milk, for example, I will not tell the AI, create a recipe using milk. I have to see what else do I have in my home, and to see if it's an oven or if it's a stove or what. So what time do I have? So I have to be very, very specific on the things that I ask, because most of these AIs are paid. So I think ChatGPT is $20 per month, $200 per month if you have a lot of different requests. So whenever I run out of questions for ChatGPT, I go to Perplexity. This is the first one. And a few days or weeks ago, DeepSeek is similar to ChatGPT, but it's from China, and it's also very good. So they have this model that is open. If you know a little bit about programming, you can also use it more broadly, but it's not good to associate AI with ChatGPT. We have a lot of different options. These two I really recommend and I use daily. So DeepSeek is the one that I put in the chat. If you open the chat, you will see the link to the slides of this conversation, and also the 2 links of these other AI tools.
Yeah, okay, thank you. So let me just conclude her speech. So if you want to, just effectively use an AI or like have a good answer for your questions, the first option is to be specific. And the second one, if you run out of like just the memory or just the free trial and these things, you can just shift the tool to the DeepSeek or the Perplexity. And the last question from Jawad Jawadi.
Hi everyone, I hope you all are doing well. First of all, thank you so much for your nice information about AI. My question is that what is your advice for those people who are trying to start a career in AI, and what should they do and from where they should start?
Thank you. So let's have a very short and concise answer from you, Ms. Evina.
Thank you. I think that it's important to learn about AI, but also learn about a lot of different other things. Today, people that only know about AI are not very requested in the job market. Only that. You should also study something else, in my opinion, like economics or statistics or data management, so you can have a more broad set of skills. But I think that one thing you should definitely do is prompt engineering and learning how to code with these AIs involved, and how to ask for the things that you want when you are coding. So it's really, really important.
Thank you, Ms. And a question from Soman Sadot, which is being asked in the chat box. What are the biggest gender data gaps in women's and girls' lives, and how can AI help address these disparities?
What was that question?
The question was,
what are the biggest gender data gaps? Okay.
Yeah.
Great. So the biggest data gaps are regarding the economy, how women are usually more poor than men. They have less money and they have to take care of children, and they do a lot of labor that is unpaid. So women are not getting paid for the care tasks. So if we take care of old people or children, or we clean the house, usually those are tasks that are not being compensated or paid fairly. So women are more poorer than men. And also about health, it's really hard for women to get the same treatment in hospitals than men. And usually, if women should treat women, but women can't study to become doctors, we have less people treating us. For example, in the areas of women intimate parts. And I think that AI can help us to create better data on this. It it's not going to solve the problem, but it's going to have better data so we can use it to solve the problem in government and in policy.
Yes, miss, thank you. And the last one who has raised his hand, Ali. You can go ahead and ask your question.
Yes, hello, how are you? And my question is about, is this one AI that you made support Persian language or Dari? Also, another question is it Afghanistan data or South Asia or mostly Asia data from gender, women gender? Is it India, we can use it or not? Thank you.
Sir, miss, I think that he wanted to ask that, is there the translation for the Persian language as well in your website, the Ayamura?
I think it's in English, but you can choose to translate it with your browser to your language.
Yes. So everyone, if you want it to be in your
Yes.
own language, you can just use the translator.
There is no problem, but we need, is it Afghanistan data from Afghanistan women's data, India or ASEAN one,
Okay.
or not?
Yeah, thank you. So Ms. Ivina, he's asking that, is the data also being collected from Afghanistan, like South Asia or India or these countries?
No, only for Latin America because it is in Spanish. But there are other initiatives that are working on building better data for Middle East and Pacific and Asia.
Thank you. So for now, their website is from the Latin America, but there are other initiatives who are working in other countries as well. And we only have 4 minutes. So if there are no other specific question, I just want to conclude the session. It was a great session having you with us, Ms. Ivana. And so let's just get the last question from Alicina. Then we will conclude the session.
Hello
Sir
to all.
Yeah.
Okay. Hello to all participants of this webinar. So my question is that the issue that Miss Ivana has discussed in her webinar about the future of AI. So can you tell me how do you see the future of AI? I mean, 5 years from now, particularly in the field of technology.
Thank you. So it's the last question, everyone. And after that, we will just end the meeting.
Yeah, that's a great question. It's really hard to tell the future because every month or so, there is a new development going on that changes all the rules regarding AI. But I think that it will be more involved in our lives, but we should use it to have more free time, not to work more. So we are working a lot and AI is doing tasks for us, for example, writing an email or creating a data set or whatever. So it would be good for us to have more free time. So I think governments should also try to push for better laws regarding work because AI exists to help humans and also to distribute jobs more equitably because AI will leave people out of work eventually, and we need to distribute it differently. So that's what I hope. I don't know what is going to happen, but I hope that governments will be more strict on regulation and we will have more free time and better jobs for everyone. That's what I hope, and we should aim for that.
Thank you so much, Ms.
I'm so sorry for disrupting. Please, just a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
So, okay. I would love to be connected with Ivana for more question and for more, for example, programs about AI. How can I connect with Ivana just for some contact or for some communication?
Thank you. So everyone, I will just send the LinkedIn page of Miss Ivana, and also you can just search her name on LinkedIn, and you will just find that, and you will just like follow and also connect. And after that, you will be free to ask your questions and whatever other concerns if you have regarding the responsible AI and gender data.
Sorry.
And so
the link
Which
doesn't
link?
work. The attendance sheet.
okay, I'm gonna open it right away. Just a minute. So let me check that. Here we are. Just a minute, guys. The responses. I think it works. Does it also work? Doesn't work for others?
Miss Marcel, it works for us.
Okay.
I think
so
there's a problem with Miss
It's
Marita.
working.
Yeah, thank you everyone. So it's working for others. Maybe your browser have a problem. And thank you everyone for joining this session. It was a great session having you all, and also Miss Ivana for just being connected with us. You can follow us on LinkedIn and Instagram by just typing the name Youth Digital Literacy, and also you will find our website for upcoming UDL events and resources as well. And for staying connected on LinkedIn, and you can find her with this picture on LinkedIn as you saw her here. So thank you so much for your attending, everyone. And if there was no other question and suggestion or concerns, I'm just ending the session. It was a great pleasure for me to having you all, and also for having our talented guest speaker. Have a good day, everyone.
Bye. Thank you for the invitation.
You're most welcome. So I'm filling you can copy it and paste it somewhere